Welcome back to Sportsnaut Situm or Stardom for fantasy football, week 14 in the NFL. I'm Scott Branson. As we near the playoffs, every decision counts. So let's dive into this week's fantasy football insights and have a little fun along the way. First up, the quarterbacks. Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys is up first. Last week, we hit the bullseye by backing Prescott, and his matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles at home looks like a touchdown dance waiting to happen. With 20 touchdowns in his last 6 games, he's hotter than a Texas barbecue against an Eagles defense more generous than Santa in giving up fantasy points to quarterbacks. Prescott is a stardom, no-brainer. Next, Houston's C.J. Stroud. Despite a start so impressive it might be mistaken for a Texas tall tale, we're pumping the brakes against the New York Jets, a defense tougher than a $2 steak. With their impressive record against quarterbacks, Stroud's fantasy flight might face some turbulence, baby. Reluctantly, but wisely, we say, sit 'em. Next up, running backs are on the table. A.J. Dillon of the Green Bay Packers is stepping up. With Aaron Jones out, Dillon ran through the Chiefs' defense like a cheesehead through cheddar. Facing the Giants, who've been about as effective as stopping the run as a paper umbrella in a Wisconsin snowstorm, Dillon is a definite stardom. Now we go over to Tampa Bay, where Rashad White's been running wild. But against the Falcons, who've been stringier than a pirate with his treasure in giving up fantasy points to running backs, White's ship might just sink this week. It's a sit-em, mateys. We now go deep with the wideout. Ceedee Lamb of the Cowboys has been catching footballs better than a cowboy at a rodeo. What? With a matchup against the Eagles, who've been as welcoming to wide receivers as a Philly cheesesteak shop to hungry patrons, Lamb's your golden ticket. Start 'em and watch the fantasy points gallop in, baby. Seattle's DK Metcalf, however, faces a tougher challenge, like trying to catch fish in a Seattle rainstorm without a net. Metcalf's matchup doesn't bode well. Despite his recent scoring spree, it's a sit-em for DK. Now the tight ends. Baltimore's Isaiah Likely is stepping into the spotlight. Against a Rams defense more generous than a holiday charity ball, it's most likely a stardom. Get it? Evan Ingram of the Jaguars, however, faces the Browns, who've been locking down tight ends tighter than a Florida Gators' jaws. With Jacksonville's offense possibly hobbled, it's a sit-em for Ingram. All right, fantasy football fanatics, as we close out, good luck as the playoffs approach in some leagues. Remember, in fantasy football, it's never over till it's over. Keep those lineups sharp, and I'll see you next week for more sit-em or stardom insights. Until then, enjoy your fantasy football.